Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty, empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hello and welcome to this episode. I want to speak to you today about sales. I know this is an incredibly emotive subject and it's something that I talk to my audience and my clients about all of the time. It's really important to us as business owners, especially in the current climate and also at this time of year. In the run-up to those big consumer moments like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and of course the C word, Christmas, we're all looking to figure out the right way to serve our people in a way that supports them during this time of year. Sales, however, is something that never sleeps, it's something that never stops, and if done correctly, it can be really easy to set yourself up sales pipelines that feel good to you, that are authentic, and quite often can be joyful. So many of my clients talk to me about feast and famine. They talk to me about really high pressure launch periods. They talk to me about sales trends and all of the things that go in with those behaviors. And of course, all of us that work in the digital industry, for those of us that are digital entrepreneurs and those of us that have products and services that we sell online and through social media, it can be quite difficult to figure out the right strategy to make sure that you're not always on this hamster wheel of selling, constantly trying to think about the next massive live launches and when you're going to be bringing in that next level income. Now, I could go deep into this and start talking about your lead generation, pipelines. I could start talking to you about your products and your placements of your products. I could talk to you about the delivery of your products, whether you do things live, whether you have passive incomes, whether you have evergreen services, whether you have a done-for-you model. I could even talk to you about all the different price points that make a well-rounded digital business work. But what I really want to talk to you about today is the feeling around sales. Sales for some people can be a bit of a dirty word, and if you're thinking that, sales is a bit icky, oh my gosh, how do I actually approach that conversation, then that's definitely something to check in with yourself about and perhaps consider how you feel in terms of your personal money mindset. And again, I'm not going to go too deep into money mindset today because I want to stay on course. My ADHD brain will have me skipping over to multiple different themes if I don't stick to the right track. But for me, one of the biggest things that I help people kind of overcome on the regular is that feeling that actually every single time you do a practice within your business, you are creating situations to sell. So I want you to think about the things that you've been told as an entrepreneur or as a business owner. You may have been taught about the way in which to write your captions or copy. That's something that's quite regular. It's something that we do as well. We teach people that, and obviously we create that for many clients in terms of our management. But equally, it isn't the copy that you put out there. It isn't the captions that you put with your gorgeous pictures of yourself and your family on holiday, or the nice branding pictures that you've had done by your professional photographer. Equally, you might think about the hashtags, like the hashtags I'm using and the visibility that I get from that. That's the thing that will make the sale. So I need to have a really strict, stringent hashtag strategy Again, absolutely fabulous if you do have a wonderful check it before you wreck it hashtag kind of policy, and you give yourself the opportunity to do the proper research and to change things accordingly. But equally, that's not the thing that's going to make this sale. That's not the thing that gets the credit, even if it does increase your reach and get you in front of the right people. Just a little side note on hashtags. I promise I won't deviate too much, but a little side note on hashtags is that they actually at the moment are not performing as well as they used to. They're not the be all and end all. That being said, we are still using them, we are still researching them, and they do have merit. But if you're the type of person who 2-3 years ago was relying on hashtags to get yourself in front of the right people, just please know that if it's not working right now, it's not you, it's them. You might even consider like those professional pictures. Like, don't get me wrong, I have had the most amazing brand shoots in my lifetime. I have just had the best people come and shoot me and create fantastic shoots. Jazz Alcock, we have Emma Holt, we have Becky Wright. A massive shout out to Amanda Hutchinson as well, who is just an adorable person and fantastic photographer. She hasn't shot me personally, but she shoots a lot of my clients, and there's nothing but fantastic reviews for all of those ladies. But that being said, those fantastic shoots, those fantastic pictures that we use, they're just representations of our branding. They're representations of our messaging. And actually, quite often, they can be far more important to our audience building than actually making the sale. So what is it that makes the sale? What actually is it? If it's not the caption, if it's not the images, if it's not the video, if it's not all of these different things that we perhaps have hung all of our hopes and dreams on, all of these behaviours and business practices that we are constantly trying to learn and perfect and get absolutely 100%, like what is the thing that makes the sale? The thing that makes the sale, and the only thing that ever makes the sale, is the emotive response from the person who is interested in the product and yourself. Okay? That's it. So the person has to believe that you're the right person to teach them the thing or the right person to deliver them the thing. That's a given. All of that can be done with fantastic copy, with fantastic imagery, with fantastic messaging, with fantastic branding, with fantastic video. Yes, 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 yes. I've built a business on that fact. But at the same time, that's not the genius of the piece. The genius of the piece is your level of expertise. How expertly that has spoken to the person who wants to purchase that thing from you and how they connect to you. Yes, people will go on a fancy sales page. If they feel inclined and they feel comfortable and you have provided them with all of the answers that they would have in their mind already, they may swiftly purchase that thing from you. But those things have a particular price point. There are lots and lots of offers that require a little bit more. And all of the things that you need to overcome for that person to feel comfortable to spend with you can be given ahead of the time. So ahead of launch, you can be talking about things in your social media. You can be coming on video. You can be having conversations. You have the opportunity to serve your audience ahead of time. You can provide for them all of the things that they need to get to that point of emotive response so that they feel comfortable purchasing from you. But all of those things are not the things that will close the sale. Let's talk about calls to actions and closing behaviours. So the psychological point of having a call to action or having a closing behaviour when it comes to sales is to give people a very clear understanding of what you want them to do next. Even if somebody is sat there interested with money in their hand, if they don't know what to do with it, then you're going to lose that sale. And that is the psychology behind these behaviours. So a call to action, if you don't know what a call to action is, although I'm certain the majority of my listeners will, if you don't know what a call to action is, it is basically where we give a very clear instruction to the person who is consuming our content. At the end of every single podcast, I give you guys a little call to action. I say to you, hey guys, if you haven't already joined my free group on Facebook, come and find us, Social Pretties. That is my call to action. At the end of all of my opt-ins, there are links. Come and find me here. At the end of all my emails, reply to this email with, like, I love hearing from you, and I'm always going to put that invitation for you to slide into my DMs or to email me back or to join my free group or to chat with me in any possible way, because that's the genius of the piece, right? That's the beautiful joy of having a business such as mine. So that's what that is. And sometimes a call to action can be stronger than that. It can be buy that thing now, click this thing now, check out the link in this place now. And they are all fantastic. Like, call to actions are great. But again, call to actions are not going to be the thing that makes the sale. It directs the person to the place that you want them to be, like a traffic controller, like an air traffic controller, waving the paddles in the air, telling you to take a left, to take a right, to park up in that bay, whatever. But it's not actually the thing that's going to make the sale. And you can overdo it. You can overdo call to actions. You can be a little bit overbearing. You can ask people to do too much, and eventually they'll just switch off to call to actions. So you have to be really careful with how you play that. Another thing that I want to mention at this point, it's another little deviation, but really, really important, is that in Facebook groups right now, there is this new feature that allows you to tag everybody in the group. If you haven't already seen it or been tagged in somebody else's group or used it yourself, then go check it out. It is quite a fun feature if you have an important announcement for your group, but very quickly from it being released, it was completely abused. And this is something that is an exceptional example of how we can be a little bit too demanding and actually switch people who would be on our ideal client spectrum off before they even get to the point where they're making a decision to buy from us or not. So the everyone tag came out and everyone started using it. And right now there is a restriction. You can only use that everyone tag once a day, but that isn't the way it used to be. When it first came out a few weeks ago, you could use that bad boy as many times as you wanted. And one good thing about it was that it did remind you of all the groups that you've joined that perhaps you no longer interact with. It was really great for me. It gave me the opportunity to clear out of a bunch of groups that I no longer kind of use, that aren't serving me. But at the same time, it felt like a bit of a wasted opportunity, because if you had something that was really important to say to your crowd, to your community, to your audience within those groups, that's a fantastic feature. Like, hey guys, I'm giving away free stuff today. Everybody check it out. Or, hey guys, my new podcast resource has just dropped. It's going to give you the 3 top things to do to sell your products in 2023. Everyone tag, please check it out. These are fantastic ways of using it. But it did get abused. People were using it on every single post. It was like, hey, look at a picture of this penguin. Everyone tag. Hey, what are you up to today? Everyone tag. Hey, why has nobody bought my stuff today? Everyone tag. And what it did was it made us switch off. So if you're listening to this right now and you have been tagged in the everyone tag quite regularly, you just have a think about yourself and be honest with yourself whether when you now get a notification that says, Sarah Rogers has tagged you in this group, whether you look at that notification and go, Sarah Rogers doesn't know who I am. That isn't an individual, personal, bespoke to me tag. She's tagged everyone, right? Like, have you done that? I do it like 16 times a day now. That's how call to actions and buy my stuff directions can land after a little bit of time. And that's why it can be really difficult for those of us that have evergreen offers, because we know that we can speak about our evergreen offers 100 times and maybe 20% of the people will hear it, then maybe 20% of those numbers will understand what we were talking about, and then maybe 5% of those numbers will actually buy. Your conversion rate is completely bespoke to you, by the way, so please don't go off those numbers. I've plucked those out of thin air. But the point is, you have your own conversion rate. You know how many people you need to reach. You know how many people will potentially convert. You know how many people will consider it and think about it and have it be a seedling that grows in their brains to come and work with you in the future. And then there'll be a small percentage of people that buy now and do the thing, right? That's something for you to consider. Now, there are all these fancy marketing tricks, fancy things, like funnel things that you can do, behaviors that you can do. So you go out there and you do a masterclass to 6,000 people, and of that masterclass of 6,000 people, you get so many of those people to sign up to an email list, and then you sell to an email list, and everybody who clicks the link, you go and speak to, personal outreach, and yada, yada, yada. Like, I could tell you about a million different sales models, a million different sales direction, and all of them work to some degree. So let's talk about how you can be a rejecter of sales behavior, like how you can have an adverse sales reaction out there in the digital world. Because there are lots of ways to make sales, but there are only a few core things that you can do that will completely turn the magnetism to your sales, your products, your services, and yourself completely off. The first thing, and it is the main thing that drives all of the other naughty sales behaviors, is desperation. Now, I know that's going to be hard for some of you to hear, because I know, and I've been in that spot myself, where I've been desperate to make sales, desperate to get the launch that I wanted, desperate to make up the numbers, desperate to have people just understand how I can help them. Sometimes it is incredibly difficult being one of those types of people who can see people struggling and know that you can help them, and that it could be quite easy for them, and it would be beneficial to everything, to their business, to their emotional, to their mental well-being, the whole shebang, and not having the opportunity to do that, like watching somebody potentially walk away from actually everything that they need. That being said, regardless of the motivation that comes from that desperation is like the stink on a skunk, and it repels sales. It repels genuine connection. It repels your opportunity to fully communicate your authentic message, and it kills off all of the good stuff that we want to be attracting into our businesses. So the echo chamber, when I have said this before to people, is always, well, what do I do to stop that desperation? Because that desperation comes from motivation, right? It comes from my purpose. It comes from my need to make money. It comes from me being a human in this complex, difficult world, And the truth be told, that the desperation that can come off of us comes from a place of lack most of the time. It's an inherently personal thing. Yes, she's mentioning money mindset again. Yes, I am. But it's something that needs to be addressed constantly. I know I am a money magnet. Every single day there is an email or a message or a fantastic comment from somebody who wants to work with me. And I am hugely blessed, hugely grateful. And it never slips my attention just how wonderful that is. But that wasn't always the way that it was. And the way that I got here was by having absolute, and I mean absolute, confidence in how I help people. In having absolute confidence that every single money that I put out into the universe, that I invest in my business or myself personally, will make its way back to me tenfold. One way or another, it always does. And allowing myself to see the opportunity and possibility in people wanting to work with me, rather than having to desperately lay down numbers. That goes for my big launches. That goes for my Instagram Glow and Grow course. It goes for my audience attraction course. It goes for the certification audience attraction course for social media managers who want to get certified and make a career out of social media management. It goes for all of them. Okay? Possibility, opportunity, and being curious and joyful about the experience. Do people say no to me when I'm trying to sell them something? Absolutely yes. Yes, they do. And anybody who's out there listening who perhaps has been approached by me with an offer and has said no to me, they will know that that's never a problem. There's no desperation. There is only possibility. You don't want to take this offer this time? Okay, that's cool. That's no problem. Like, I thought of you because I know I can help you. I thought of you because I can see how this would advance your business. I thought of you because this is the type of community that you would thrive in. I thought of you because this is an option that I know will make your life easier. It is never, I'm desperately clawing at you because I need to make 10 sales today and I'm only on 6. Have you ever felt that way? Like, I have a good, a better, and a best. So I need to just curiously get out there and find random people to pitch this to. Now, to a certain degree, that does work. I'm sorry to say it, but it is just the truth. If you throw enough mud at the wall, some of it will stick. But you're not reaching out to ideal client when you do that. You'll get more no's than you get yeses. And some of the yeses you'll get will not be a good fit. Okay? Now, you can't always know somebody isn't going to be a good fit. There have been plenty of times where I have had discovery calls, I've had check-in calls, I've had wonderful experiences, emotional connections, what are sometimes felt like soul connections with clients, and then sometimes down the line have found that actually they are not the right fit. You can't always tell. But if you're throwing mud at the wall and not even attempting to qualify, then you will definitely have more of a percentage of people who don't appreciate what it is that you're doing for them. So do think about that when you're thinking about your next sales process. Closing behaviors often sound like questions that require the person to give you something other than a yes or no answer. Okay? When you take this offer, what will that feel like for you is a closing question. Because you're adding the psychology for the person on the other side to recognize how good this offer would be for them and actually what it would feel like for them to be in the space where they can actually fully utilize it. Are you in? Is a closing question. Can I put you down? Can I celebrate you? Can I let people know you're joining us? All of these things are closing. Now, back in another life, when I used to sell beautiful diamonds, face-to-face with people, day in, day out, in another life, closing questions would be things like, is this the one? Are you going to take this today? Is she going to be wearing this one in a couple of months? Those types of things. They're incredibly powerful because they force the person on the other side to stop dilly-dallying and make a decision there and then. And I am a fan of closing questions, okay? However, I'm a massive fan of scoping the situation and providing somebody the space to make a decision or to speak to their daughter, their husband, their sister, their auntie, whoever, whilst they're making that decision. One of the things that I love about people who work with me, the majority of people that work with me, I should say to be more concise, is that the money they spend with me and my agency is joyful spending. It is extremely rare that clients that work with us have to talk about the stress of spending that money or the pinch of spending that money. The majority of the time, it's a joyful expense. They love working with us. They love the results that they get. Giving money and giving energy back into themselves and their business just creates more for them. It creates more abundance. It creates more joy. It creates more freedom, especially those that take our social media services or our community nurture services. More freedom. They're not on the hook for that stuff. We are. It gives an opportunity for them to put that investment out into the world, into their business, fully commit in an energetic capacity that feels good and that serves them day in, day out. It doesn't matter whether you're buying social media services, whether you're having a one-to-one, whether you're coming for a strategy day, whether, you're coming to record a year's worth of reels with us. It doesn't matter what it is. It's exciting because these things create the future possibilities. So often the work that we do with our clients today is not for today. It is building the foundations from which businesses will run for years and years and years. And that is exciting. It's exciting because all of the dreams that you have, that you're thinking about, that you're working towards, are built on these types of structures. You want to be doing that same thing for your clients. Like, you really want people to feel good about spending their money with you. No one's going to feel good about spending their money with you if when they come to you and say, okay, I think I'm interested, but I want to go and chat to my husband first just to make sure that he's okay with me spending this money. If you go back and say, well, if you were really the business owner or CEO that I thought you were, then perhaps you would be able to make this decision without having to consult somebody else. Oh, that's not going to feel good. That doesn't feel good. That's so judgmental. Like, let them go and speak to their partner, and if it feels good for them, then let them come back. And if it doesn't feel good to them, then let them go with love. Not everybody you come across will be the right fit for you. Lots of people will be the right fit for you and the thing that you're selling, but not at that particular time. So keep that door open, give people the opportunity, and try not to push. There is a massive difference between having a very good sales conversation where you can determine if the person on the other side of this is truly ready, than trying to force something and create something out of fear of saying no. That's like a horrendous thing. If you've ever known anybody who has bought something because they were too scared to say no, or out of that kind of scarcity of, I must buy this thing, otherwise my business will fail. It's really, really difficult. Find a way to connect to your people. Find a way to open up the door. Accept no's with love. Let people go and let people come. And be the kind of magnetism that you deserve. Because I promise you, if you can find those people that enjoy spending their money with you, that really get a fantastic feeling of pleasure by putting their money into the possibilities, by being in your company, by experiencing those experiences, there is nothing more joyful on the other side than that, than feeling that energy when somebody buys from you, when you make that all-important sale. Take some time. Figure out a way that you could perhaps invite and offer without being too forceful. And think of ways that you can be having sales conversations long before you ever put a sales page or link or actual product in front of the noses of your people. People say to me all the time, like, how often are you selling? Well, we're selling all the time. Every single podcast you guys have listened to, every single one that you listen to, you are figuring out whether you resonate with me. Yes, I'm not selling you anything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I mean, you're more than happy to message me, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's no big launch on the end of this podcast. But I'm creating a free resource, right? But that free resource also allows you to connect to me and decide whether I'm the kind of person who could help you whether I'm the kind of person that you want to come and listen to in my free group, So give those opportunities, invite, don't coerce, invite, be honest, be authentic, don't push, and put the desperation and the spammy sales techniques that come from that desperation in the bin. Because I promise you, if you do that, you will make more sales, and the sales that you make will be 100% more joyful. If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. As depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.